Theo? Theo, it's time to wake up. You ready to get on an airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where are we gonna go?
To Auckland, New Zealand.
Good job. Just about to take off.
Where are we going?
To Auckland, New Zealand.
Auckland, New Zealand? Yeah?
And the worms glow in the dark. Bye-bye, family. Bye-bye, family.
Kia ora.
From New Zealand. So before we talk about our actual arrival and everything in New Zealand, I kind of wanted to mention the plane ride, because there were so many things and it was like, oh, do we even go? I mean, because we made it about a fourth of the way to Auckland, and then the pilot comes over and he's like, sorry everybody, we got to turn around and go back to Hawaii because of a medical emergency. So anyway, that was fun. So when we got back on our flight
7 hours later
to go to New Zealand, we were all so tired. I mean, I think Theo even fell asleep before we even took off. Anyway, so we were in an aisle group. There was 4, and they told Devin to sit in the aisle. And so there was Devin, me, a random dude, and then Theo. And so we asked the random dude if we can switch. So anyway, that was a little bit better. But anyway, a couple hours into it, I wake up and I look at Theo, and he's got his legs propped up on this random dude and just like fast asleep. And I was like, sorry. I get his legs down, and then I wake up like an hour later after that, and he's like straddling me with a leg on either side. It's like, and I'm like, sorry. So anyway, guy in 34C.
Sorry.
We are very sorry.
From the bottoms of our hearts, very sorry. So finally we get off the plane and we're in Auckland, New Zealand, and the first thing we think of is like, let's get somewhere where we can stretch our legs, let the kids run around and have some fun. So we looked on Google for whatever the closest park was to where we were. And the first one we get to was insane. This park puts any park I've seen in the U.S. to shame. They've got zip lines and little basket swings that you can relax in, and it's crazy.
Come to find out though that was like one of the oldest and most rundown parks in like pretty much all of New Zealand, because the other ones that we went to were like amusement parks and insane.
All these parks are just extravagant and
they're amazing.
Amazing.
Laying in a deck chair, feeling the sunshine, sipping margaritas all day. Having a good life, got you by my side, summer should never end. Sharing the same bed, spending these nights, having sex whenever we like. Laying in a deck chair, feeling the sunshine, let's make these wishes come true. Got a good life, got a damn good life, got a good life, got a damn good life, got a good life, got a damn good life, got a good life, got a damn good life with you. Yeah, got a good life. Hey, got a good life. Got a good life. Got a good life with you. Got a good life. Got a damn good life with you.
Okay, so then day 2, we go down to Hamilton, and Hamilton, you have my heart. Not
Forever.
only is it like the most family-friendly city in the world, but there's the most beautiful family ever, the Nanoa family. We love
And the
you.
Aitchisons.
And the Aitchisons. We love you. I mean, we were in church maybe 5 minutes before we were like, hey, come to dinner with us. Now, what's your last name? And
Yeah.
it was just amazing. So the purpose of going to the Hamilton area was because about 45 minutes south is Theo's whole purpose in going to New Zealand, which is the worms that glow in the dark in Waitomo. And this was kind of an experience that is hard to describe. If you look at pictures, they almost look,
Fake.
yeah, unreal. And we went with a small tour that was about like 8 or 9 people. And they did a tour through like the stalagmites and talking about the caves and everything. But at one point, you have your little headlamp on with the lights on, and the tour guide, Zane, who's awesome, says, look up. And we looked up, and I audibly gasped. I was like, because there were just blue glowworms all over, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it looks like a star-filled sky when all the stars are blue.
Yeah. We walked further down, and they put you in this boat, and I mean, there were no cameras allowed for like 15-20 minutes, and I'm so glad because it really allowed us to just enjoy the experience and to just live in the experience, and that was pretty amazing. But they take you down this tunnel, and you're just being surrounded by these glowworms, and it's an out-of-body experience for sure.
Nature's beautiful.
Yeah.
So day 3, we went to a place called Rotorua, which is beautiful. It's an authentic Maori village that's still inhabited by, 18 families there, and they do little tours. And so we had a tour guide that was born and raised in this little village, and he showed us around the village. It was pretty awesome. We got to see how they cook their food using the hot water that comes out of the ground.
We got to
and
eat the food that was cooked in the hot
got
water
to
that
eat
comes
the
out of the
food.
ground.
Yeah, got a lot of pictures, and one of the coolest things we got from this village was we were able to learn how to do the haka.
And Theo, oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever seen anything
He
cute.
put everyone to shame. He had fans coming up to him at the end and just adoring him. And
Ah, so cute. So you have the real haka. And then you have Theo's haka. The next day we actually drove up to the Coromandel Peninsula, and we wanted to go to the hot water beach, but unfortunately so did the rest of the island because it was crowded. But it was actually a really cool thing to see. So hot water beach, if you don't know, is where people go and dig holes in the sand, and then it fills up with the hot water from the spring. Like if you hit a spring, it fills up with hot water, and I guess it gets so hot that it could burn you. But people just like sit in these like homemade hot tubs on the beach.
On our way out, back up towards Auckland, we stopped at this ice cream place called Giappo's. And if you've never heard of Giappo's, maybe you should just experience it. You get the most massive, extravagant ice cream cones you'll ever...
There's one called the Colossal Squid, and if you know me, you know that there can't be too much chocolate in anything, but looking at this thing, that's
it had her beat.
Too much chocolate because it was extravagant. Anyway, the ice cream that we did get was pretty incredible.
Unreal.
It's more than ice cream. It's an experience. So now we are flying to the South Island. We flew from Auckland down to Christchurch. And in Christchurch, we rented a camper van. This camper van is more than a camper van because it is a minivan turned camper van.
So it's less than a camper van.
For the four of us. And I was laughing so hard because I was so nervous. The whole time they were like showing us around the camper van, and I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know what we're gonna do.
We're packed for a year, packed lightly for a year.
And it's not gonna fit.
And we have 4 kids, or 2 kids. We are 4 kids.
So spaceships, thank you. It actually was a much better experience than we were expecting because we slept relatively comfortable. I mean, as comfortable as you can fitting 4 people in a minivan, but the layout of it was awesome. Like, it fit all of our luggage, it fit our 2 kids, it fit a kitchen and
fridge and
storage and all that stuff. So it was actually really awesome, and it was nice to be on the go as we go around the South Island, because the difference of the South Island versus the North Island is that there's no freeways. It's like back roads, the entire South Island.
One thing we were a little nervous going into the South Island at first because, you know, a week in a minivan with 2 kids sounds kind of like someone's version of hell. And we didn't realize till getting to the South Island that the South Island was designed for campers and camper vans.
Yeah.
We, like, every other mile there was a public restroom somewhere. There was water sources everywhere, campsites everywhere.
Which, I'm going to add, are extremely clean. The bathrooms are so clean.
Yeah, some of them even talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different story.
And the nice thing about these campsites is they're not just, you know, plots of land on the side of a highway somewhere designated for camper vans and tents and stuff. They're like actually scenic views of beautiful rivers and streams and lakes and the open ocean, and it was just incredible.
We're starting on an adventure by living in a van down by the river.
By the river.
We'll see how this goes. Alright, Devin, how are you feeling about living in a van?
I love it, but I've got leg room.
Took us a minute to get all of our baggage in. It's all packed in like sardines. So's our children. Feeling good.
Counting every second till the sun goes down. Heartbeats buzzing to the neon sound. Whoa, whoa. Ripped jeans and tees never felt so free. You could be anywhere but you're here with me. Let's
I was kind of nervous on going to the South Island because I loved it so much and it has such a huge piece of my heart. But when we arrived and when we explored it, it was so different that it's hard to compare the two. And so that was nice. Both beautiful, both incredible. Loved them both. So our first day in the camper van is we went down to this beach where it has the world's smallest penguins. And they come out at dusk and they come onto the beach. They waddle onto the beach to go to their little babies. And that was really cool and cute. And we kept the kids up way too late.
We
see it.
took one of the penguins home.
Yeah. He's in our
Just kidding.
suitcase.
That's not true. One stop that everyone has to hit in New Zealand is Queenstown. It's kind of far. I mean, if you're on your way to Milford Sound anyway, you'll hit it on the way. But Queenstown is like the adventure capital of New Zealand. Queenstown is basically a lake surrounded by Park City.
But even just walking around Queenstown was pretty awesome. Had really cool street performances, and they had the world's best burger. Ferg burgers. Yum.
I know it's a bold claim, and I was skeptical at first. Like,
You did it! Congratulations! World's best cup of coffee. Great job, everybody.
they claim to have, or I don't know if they even claim to have the best burger, but it is a claim, and they lived up to the hype.
It was pretty good.
We got a couple big burgers, and they were only like $10 a piece, but they were like this big, and we finished them all.
We demolished them.
Demolished them, just inhaled them.
So good.
Verdict?
I'll give it. That's really good. Best burger I've ever had.
The thing that I love most about New Zealand is the gaspable moments that I had pretty much the entire trip. We were just driving, and I'm sightseeing because I'm a passenger and I get to do that. And we come around this bend, and I just, because I saw a field full of lupins, and these flowers are incredible.
On our way down through the South Island, we saw lake after lake after lake, and we actually used an app called Rankers that shows you all the different campsites that you can stay in a camper van, in a tent, what the requirements are, if it costs any money, and there's free camping all through the South Island. You would think that we would just, go day by day through hitting the next lake. You can't do that. You can't see all the lakes in South Island because there's so many of them.
But the cool thing about these lakes, and I'm not sure what makes them this way, is that they're so blue. They're like baby blue lakes. That's really cool. So now we get to the meat of our reason for going to New Zealand.
Milford Sound.
And you know what? It's funny because we almost didn't go. We were in Queenstown. We had been driving for like 4 or 5 days.
Straight. Constantly.
And we're just sitting there in town and we're like, maybe we don't go. Maybe it's not going to be that cool for the kids.
Well, we checked the weather forecast on Google,
yes.
and the weather forecast was like heavy rain.
Yeah, like more than usual. We get to Milford Sound and it was actually not raining. And we get on our boat and we were able to see all of Milford Sound without rain.
But on our way back through Milford Sound on this ferry tour that we took, we got dumped on just water for days. And it was actually pretty cool. It was kind of an adventure. The boat was rocking everywhere. It was stormy seas and the kids were having fun and stuff. And we finally get back, and on our way out of Milford Sound, driving in the car, we were surrounded by mountains, and we were also surrounded by waterfalls.
It was incredible because it was raining so hard that the waterfalls were just
Everywhere.
surrounding us. So we went with a small tour again. We just prefer small, intimate tours rather than big ones. And so our boat maybe had 15 people on it total. And it was a tiny boat. It was the smallest boat out there. And our captain was amazing. He was so cute. He even let Theo drive the boat. And Theo felt like he was a captain. I think he talked about it for the rest of the day.
He got to wear his little captain's hat.
I'm a captain of the boat, and I got to drive the boat.
I like that the captain gave Theo a choice. Do you want to wear a pirate hat or a captain's hat? And he was just like, boy,
Captain.
captain hat, of course. No question.
has been really funny this trip. There was a point where we were going on a walk and this guy passes by and he's like,
Good morning, mate.
Good morning, mate. And Theo was like, Mike? He was so confused. He's going to come home with a funny accent.
Yes.
Well, that ends our time in New Zealand, and we're so sad.
Really? We're gonna cry.
I think New Zealand ruined us because I don't know if any other place in the world is going to live up to what New Zealand is. So, New Zealand,
We love you.
we love you.
Aloha nui.
Bye.